But Muawiyah broke the treaty with Imam Hussain alayhi salam and appointed Yazid as the caliph. Muawiyah warned his son Yazid before his death. He said, "Beware of Hussein. If he stands up against you, you will not survive." Yazid knew well that securing the allegiance bay'ah of Hussein was the most critical task, because if Hussein pledged allegiance, everyone else would follow. Yazid was a tyrant of the highest order and a drunkard. He knew very well that the people would not willingly accept his allegiance, so he began forcing people to pledge allegiance at the point of a sword. He sent letters to all his governors ordering them to forcefully take allegiance from the people on his behalf. Consequently, his governors began beating and forcing people into submission. Around that time, Walid bin Utbah, the governor of Medina, secretly summoned Imam Hussain alayhi salam during the night and asked him to pledge allegiance to Yazid. However, Imam Hussain alayhi salam declared, "I will never pledge allegiance to Yazid." Saying this, Imam Hussain left for Makkah that very night along with his family, where he stayed for several months. While Imam Hussain alayhi salam was in Makkah, he received numerous letters from the people of Kufa saying, "We have no imam besides you. Come to us, we will support you and fight against this Yazid." Consequently, Imam Hussain alayhi salam sent Muslim bin Aqil to Kufa to assess the situation. When Muslim bin Aqil arrived in Kufa, the locals welcomed him warmly, and more than 18,000 people promised to pledge allegiance at the hands of Imam Hussain. When Yazid learned that people were raising an army against him, he immediately removed Noman bin Bashir from the governorship of Kufa and replaced him with Ubaidullah bin Ziyad, so that he could go there and suppress the movement. Ubaidullah bin Ziyad, with great cunning, entered Kufa in the dead of night wearing clothes similar to Imam Hussain and covering his face. When the people saw him, they thought Imam Hussain had arrived to lead them. They began celebrating and kissing his hands. Since electricity did not exist at that time, no one realized the deception in the dark. Ubaidullah bin Ziyad entered the palace of Kufa, and the very next day he revealed his true identity to the public, warning that anyone who supported Hussein would face a terrible fate. He captured Muslim bin Aqil, threw him from the roof of the palace and martyred him. He also martyred many others who intended to support Imam Hussein and threw many into prisons. By this time, Imam Hussain alayhi salam had already set out towards Kufa with his family. He had stayed in Makkah for the previous 4 months, and during the Hajj season, thousands of Muslims had come and promised to follow him. When Yazid found out about this, he sent some of his men disguised in the state of Ihram to martyr Imam Hussain alayhi salam. When Imam Hussain discovered that Yazid had sent spies to assassinate him, he decided to leave Makkah. Before departing, he delivered a sermon saying, "Whoever accompanies us will be martyred, and whoever stays behind will never achieve that magnificent success." With these words, Imam Hussain alayhi salam departed for Kufa, unaware that Ubaidullah bin Ziyad had seized total control of the city. Although several of his companions advised him against going there, Imam Hussain alayhi salam set out towards Kufa with a total of only 70 to 80 people. He was not heading out for war. Rather, he was traveling with his family to meet the people of Kufa. As this noble caravan journeyed through the desert, they received news of the martyrdom of Muslim bin Aqil. Upon hearing this, the morale of several companions broke, and some thought of turning back. Imam Hussain alayhi salam told them, "We belong to Allah, and to Him we shall return. We must complete this journey, and I cannot turn back." After this, the caravan resumed its journey toward Kufa. Later, while the caravan rested at a certain location along the way, Imam Hussain was sleeping and saw his grandfather, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in a dream. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to him, "O Hussein, move forward. Allah wishes to see you martyred." Imam Hussain alayhi salam woke up from his dream, shared it with his companions, and told them that anyone who wished to return could do so, because anyone who stayed with him from that point onward would be killed. A few people left, but the rest remained, and the caravan proceeded toward its destination. Along the way, they encountered another caravan belonging to Zuhair bin Kain. He met with Imam Hussain, and following this meeting, Zuhair bin Kain divorced his wife and told her to go back with the others, saying, I will now lay down my life alongside Imam Hussain alayhi salam. On the other hand, Yazid had learned that Imam Hussain was heading toward Kufa. That wicked tyrant sent Hur bin Yazid with an army of 1,000 soldiers toward the caravan of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Hur bin Yazid intercepted the caravan of Imam Hussain along the banks of the Euphrates River in the desert. Imam Hussain asked his companions, "What place is this?" They replied, "This is Karbala." Tears welled up in the eyes of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, and he said, "This is the very place where our blood will be shed." Imam Hussain alayhi salam ordered, "Pitch the tents here. We will proceed no further." This was the exact spot where Imam Ali alayhi salam, while returning from the Battle of Siffin, had stopped and said, "O Hussein, be patient on the day when your father will not be there to help you. Bear it with patience on the land of Karbala, for there you will have to face death alone." On the second day of Muharram, when the companions of Imam Hussain alayhi salam pitched their tents in Karbala, Yazid sent Umar bin Saad with an army of 4,000 to join the forces of Hur bin Yazid. This significantly increased the size of Hur bin Yazid's army. Furthermore, Umar bin Saad continuously requested more troops from Yazid, causing his army to swell from 1,000 to 30,000 soldiers. On the other side, Imam Hussain had only 70 companions with him. Why was Umar bin Saad gathering such a massive army against just 70 people, many of whom were women and children? The reason was that among those 70 individuals stood a man named Abbas. He was the son of Imam Ali alayhi salam and the brother of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. He was so incredibly brave that whenever he fought in battle, people felt as though Ali himself was fighting. Imam Ali alayhi salam had specifically asked Allah for him during his tahajjud prayers. He had prayed, "O Allah, grant me a son who will support my son Hussein on the day of his loneliness. Grant me a child who is loyal to Hussein, who will stand by him in Karbala, who will give his life for him, and who will never bow before death." Only then did Allah bless him with a son like Abbas. This was why Umar bin Saad was continuously calling for more troops, because he knew he was facing Abbas. Imam Hussain wrote a letter to the people of Kufa to inform them of their situation, but that letter never reached them. Imam Hussain and his companions were enduring severe, agonizing thirst because Umar bin Saad had stationed 500 soldiers along the banks of the Euphrates. At that time, the desert heat was scorching, the sun was directly overhead, children were crying, and their lips were completely parched. Even the women were fainting due to the severity of the thirst. The companions of Imam Hussain were growing physically weak from dehydration, yet their spirit remained unshakable. One of the sons of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam, was already severely ill. Bibi Sakina would repeatedly come to Imam Hussain and ask, "Father, where is the water?" Imam Hussain alayhi salam sent a message to the enemy saying, "If your enmity is with me, at least allow these children and women to drink water. What is their fault?" But the reply came back, "We have strict orders from Ubaidullah bin Ziyad not to give them even a single drop of water." The next day, on the 8th of Muharram, Imam Hussain alayhi salam tried to negotiate with Umar bin Saad, but their sole demand was for him to pledge allegiance to Yazid, which Imam Hussain was never prepared to do. Due to dehydration, their heart rates were rapidly increasing. Their blood was thickening, making it difficult for the body to pump, and brain functions were declining, symptoms that were even more pronounced in the children. The 9th of Muharram arrived, and the entire day passed under this immense trial. Imam Hussain alayhi salam spent the entire night in worship. He told his companions, "You may leave now. The enemy only wants my life. I do not want anyone to lose their life because of me." Following this, Imam Hussain extinguished the lamp, and when he relit it a short while later, not a single one of his companions had left him. When Hur bin Yazid realized that Umar bin Saad was genuinely going to wage war against Imam Hussain, he chose to join the army of Imam Hussain instead, because he held great respect for him. Then the sun rose on the 10th of Muharram. Imam Hussain alayhi salam stood before the army of Yazid and addressed them, "O people, reflect upon who I am. Am I not the grandson of your prophet? Do you wish to kill me simply because I refuse to pledge allegiance to Yazid?" But the enemy remained silent. Imam Hussain then prepared his army, dividing them into 3 sections. One section on the right, one on the left, and the central section led by Hazrat Abbas, while Yazid's army completely surrounded them. Following the Fajr prayer, the battle commenced. One by one, the companions of Imam Hussain alayhi salam were martyred. After all his companions had fallen, the beautiful son of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, Janabe Ali Akbar, who bore a striking resemblance to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, entered the battlefield and cried out, "I am Ali, the son of Hussein, who is the son of Ali. We belong to the household of the Prophet, and by Allah, we will never bow before falsehood." When Yazid's army looked upon the face of Janabe Ali Akbar, they fell silent. Some lowered their gaze and others turned their faces away. Because Janabe Ali Akbar looked so much like Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it felt as though the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself had stepped onto the battlefield. He charged forward, striking down one enemy after another, but from a distance someone struck him in the chest with a spear. He fell to the ground and called out to Imam Hussain. Imam Hussain rushed to him with immense speed, lifted him and prayed, "O Allah, bear witness. They have martyred the one who resembled your prophet the most in appearance." Following this, the son of Imam Hassan alayhi salam, Janabe Qasim alayhi salam, sought permission from Imam Hussain to fight. Imam Hussain alayhi salam said, "O Qasim, you are the sole remaining legacy of your father. How can I let you go?" Janabe Qasim alayhi salam replied, "My uncle, for your sake, death is sweeter to me than honey." Imam Hussain alayhi salam embraced him tightly and wept. Janabe Qasim then entered the field and fought with supreme bravery, but after some time someone attacked him from behind, and he too was martyred. Imam Hussain alayhi salam went to him and lifted his body. Following this, 2 nephews of Imam Hussain were also martyred. Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam was heavily engaged in the battle when he heard the cries of the thirsty children. He asked Imam Hussain alayhi salam for permission to fetch water. Imam Hussain granted him permission. Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam mounted his horse and charged through Yazid's army toward the Euphrates River, eliminating anyone who stood in his path until he reached the water. Upon reaching the river, he scooped up some water in his hands to drink, but the moment he remembered that his family was parched, he dropped the water from his hands. He filled his water skin, mounted his horse, and began riding back toward the tents. However, enemies ambushed him and severed one of his arms. He gripped the water skin with his other hand, but that arm was severed as well. He then held the water skin with his teeth, but shortly after, he was martyred. Imam Hussain rushed to Hazrat Abbas, who said, "Brother, forgive me, I could not bring water for you." And with those words, he passed away. Imam Hussain alayhi salam was completely broken by his martyrdom. Afterward, Imam Hussain alayhi salam brought his 6-month-old son, Ali Asghar, before the enemy army and pleaded, "If not for me, at least give some water to this innocent infant." Instead, a merciless tyrant shot a 3-pronged arrow into the neck of Janabe Ali Asghar, martyring him. Imam Hussain alayhi salam scooped the blood of Janabe Ali Asghar, threw it toward the sky and said, "O Allah, remember this sacrifice of mine." Now, all of Imam Hussein's companions had been martyred, and he was left entirely alone. His body was covered in numerous wounds, and he was exhausted from fighting. Compounded by a level of severe thirst where a normal human being would find it impossible even to move, he stood defiantly before his enemies. Imam Hussain went to his family, bid them farewell, and wrote a final letter to the people of Kufa stating, "You sent letters inviting me here, but now you have turned back on your promise. Now, inshallah, we shall meet on the day of judgment." He then mounted his horse, Zuljana, holding the sword Zulfikar, and stepped onto the battlefield. Facing an army of thousands completely alone, he refused to surrender. On one side stood a massive multitude, and on the other stood a lone, wounded lion. Imam Hussain charged at the army with full speed, cutting through the enemy lines with his sword. He kept advancing, tearing through their ranks while enemy heads flew through the air like birds. Many soldiers were left in absolute shock, with some remarking, "We have never seen any human being fight like this while suffering from such severe thirst and wounds." He fights as if he does not belong to this world. Several commanders of Yazid's army ordered a collective assault, yet no one was willing to face Imam Hussain head-on. Groups of 10 soldiers would attack Imam Hussain alayhi salam simultaneously, yet they still could not overpower him. It appeared as though Ali himself had entered the field wielding the Zulfikar. Watching this from a distance, Umar bin Saad ordered his troops, "Attack him from all sides and rain arrows upon Hussein from afar." When thousands of arrows rained down upon Imam Hussein, he could no longer protect himself and his entire body was pierced by arrows. Imam Hussain alayhi salam fell from his horse and went into the state of prostration, sajda, and in that state he was martyred. Following the martyrdom of Imam Hussain, Shimr approached Imam Hussain alayhi salam, placed his wretched foot upon the blessed chest of the Imam, and severed the head of Imam Hussain alayhi salam from his body. The tents of Imam Hussain were plundered, and the women and children were taken as captives. Following the martyrdom of Imam Hussain, a revolution emerged that endures to this very day. When the people of Kufa learned of the martyrdom of Imam Hussain, they gathered at his grave and swore an oath to fight against Yazid until their last breath, declaring, "Our swords will be their test." They subsequently waged war against Yazid and were martyred. Following this, in Mecca, Abdullah bin Zubair refused to pledge allegiance to Yazid, leading the Muslims of Mecca to fight against Yazid, resulting in thousands of Muslim martyrdoms. Afterward, the people of Medina also broke their allegiance to Yazid upon learning of the martyrdom of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, rising up to fight against Yazid, where thousands more were martyred. Several years later, the Abbasids rose with black banners and completely dismantled the tyrannical rule of the Umayyads. A revolution had begun through the blood of Imam Hussain that continued for centuries after his martyrdom. For instance, prior to the 1979 revolution in Iran, the country was ruled by Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, who acted as a puppet for Western nations like Israel and the United States. While Iran is considered their greatest adversary today, there was a time when Iran shared highly favorable relations with them. During that period, Western culture was fully prevalent in Iran, and religious scholars were actively suppressed. Then a man rose named Ayatollah Khomeini. Khomeini began telling the people that every day is Ashura, and every land is Karbala, meaning he urged the people to stand up against the modern Yazid, just as it was done in Karbala, and to bring about a regime change in Iran. Khomeini began raising awareness among the people during religious congregations, majalis. The people began to understand his message, chanting Labbaik ya Hussein, raising the flags of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, and thousands of Muslims even laid down their lives fighting the regime. Inspired by the story of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, Ayatollah Khomeini successfully overthrew the Iranian government, replacing the westernized culture with an Islamic government. Inspired by the Islamic movement in Iran, Sheikh Ibrahim started a similar movement in Nigeria. These people also chanted slogans of Imam Hussain and held protests. Seeing this, in December 2015, Nigerian security forces attacked them, martyring more than 1,000 Muslims, including 3 sons of Sheikh Ibrahim. Sheikh Ibrahim and his wife were shot and imprisoned without a trial. Similarly, the people of Iraq, exhausted by government corruption, poverty, and American foreign interference, launched massive anti-government protests. These protesters began identifying themselves with Hussein and labeling the corrupt government as Yazidi. Over 100 people lost their lives. Thousands were injured. Many were targeted by snipers, and the protesters' camps were set on fire, reminiscent of how the tents of Imam Hussain were burned. That same year, the people of Lebanon, fed up with government corruption and the political system, held widespread protests. The people called themselves Husseini and carried black flags in protest. The government deployed tear gas against these protesters and arrested many. But 2 weeks into the protests, their Prime Minister Saad Hariri resigned. Similarly, the 2011 Bahraini protests occurred when the majority population was oppressed by the ruling regime, leading them to protest. In addition, the 2020 Indian protests, the Black Lives Matter protests, and various protests in Pakistan were all driven by the underlying inspiration of Karbala. This is the very revolution that Imam Hussain started with his blood, which many people today fail to fully recognize. Islam itself is a political religion. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was himself a statesman who dealt with adversaries and established Islam. Similarly, the first caliph, Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, was a statesman, as was Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, who led campaigns against the Roman and Persian empires, spreading Islam across the world. Imam Ali alayhi salam was also a statesman who worked alongside the administrations of Hazrat Abu Bakr, Umar, and Uthman, offering them counsel, and later ruled during his own caliphate. This is why Islam is a political religion that possesses its own system of governance, Khilafah. This faith is destined to govern. If adversaries rule over Muslims, the prayers and fasting of Muslims will carry no weight against oppression, as adversaries will inflict tyranny while Muslims remain helpless, a reality visible today in Palestine. For this reason, we must first become politically active and establish the governance of Allah. Otherwise, our prayers hold no practical effect. This is precisely why Allama Iqbal stated that the faith that people search for inside mosques actually lies on the sands of Karbala.